Moments calculations stage 2. So I'm on page 9 of our moments booklet and I'm just going to do question 2 here. So in each of the following questions the plank is 80 centimeters long, so I'm going to underline that because that's really important. And we have to calculate the moment of the following forces. So here's our pivot. Our plank is 80 centimeters long. And I think I've made a mistake here, sorry about that. That should be 20 centimeters. So we have to find the moment of this force. So the first thing we do is write down our formula. Moment equals force times distance, just the same as last week. And now we need to fill in our information. So our force is I'm just going to change pen color here. The force is the 0.5 newtons. Okay, so force is 0.5. And the distance is the distance between the force and the pivot. Now I'm just going to say that again. The distance is the distance between the force and the pivot. So this is my force and this is the pivot. So I need to find out this distance between the force and the pivot. So if the whole thing is 80 centimeters long and this distance here is 20 centimeters, then what we have left over between the force and the pivot must be 60 centimeters. So I'm going to put in a distance of 60 and I'll just change back color. So my moment then is 0.5 times 60, which gives me 30, but I have to include my units, which is newtons times centimeters, and then I have to look at my direction. So I put my pen along my rod from my pivot to the force, and I hold it at the pivot here, and then I push it upwards at this point, and you will find that the rod will turn that way, which of course is clockwise. So I'm just going to write that in, clockwise. So the moment is 30 Newton centimeters. Now today's assignment is to complete this question and upload it. I'm just going to go on to question 3 though. This is a very important question. So it says a uniform plank. So whenever we were learning about center of gravity, we talked about uniform and non-uniform objects. And a uniform plank, that word there tells us that the center of gravity is in the middle. And that is really, really important. Okay, so a uniform plank of length 80 centimeters and weight 3 newtons is pivoted at the right end. Calculate the moment of the weight about the pivot in Newton meters. Okay, and so I've been asked for Newton meters, so I just need to change this down here. Another mistake, sorry about that. So let's draw a diagram. So I'm going to start off with my rod, and this rod is pivoted at the right hand end, so the pivot is here. And it says that the rod has a weight, or sorry, the plank has a weight of 3 newtons. But where does that weight act? Well, if it's a uniform object, the center of gravity is in the middle, here. That's the center of gravity. And the weight will always act downwards from the center of gravity. So that weight is 3 newtons. And that's in the middle, and that's really important. So if this whole plank is 80 centimeters long, then the distance between the pivot and the force is going to be half that, because the center of gravity is in the middle, because it's a uniform plank. So there is my new diagram that gives me all the information that I need. So I start off by writing down my equation. Moment equals force times distance. The actual force is 3 newtons and the distance is 40 centimeters. But I've been asked to calculate my moment in Newton meters, which means that I need to change this 40 centimeters into meters. So 40 centimeters To get it into meters, I need to divide by 100. So that's 0.4 meters. So that's 0.4 meters. And I just put my 0.4 in over here. So my moment works out to be 1.2 Newton meters. But the last thing, of course, is to work out the direction. So I put my pen on the page and I hold it at this point, and this time I'm going to push it down and see which way it goes, and you will see that it moves in an anti-clockwise direction. So that's anti-clockwise, and I'm just going to fill in my number, which is 1.2 Newton meters. Okay, now as well as the assignment, I'd like you to have a wee go at some questions. Presently we can do questions on page 13 and page 14, and those are practice questions, and the answers to those will be uploaded at the end of the unit. But it's a good idea just to have a wee practice now and to get it done in stages rather than me telling you to do the whole lot right at the very end. Okay, thank you.